Hey guys, Felix from Got Milk Gaming here, and I'm here with the newest member of the team, Jose Santiago. And what you did yesterday, Jose?
I went to the Imperial tournament in Connecticut. I think there was like 165 players, and I went 10-0 and came in first place.
10. Oh!
Yeah.
Jesus, this guy is golden. So how do you feel about being the newest member at Got Milk Gaming?
Feels good. I'm a newer player. I got into the game competitively like a year and a half ago.
Yes, sir.
So kind of feels good to get like a win, and just going forward from there feels good. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And what did you play today? Or yesterday?
I decided to play Drytron. The main reason I played Drytron for the event was I felt like the format was going to one card starter format, and while decks like Prank Kids, Tri-Brigade to some extent, and like Invoke, they're pretty good with those one card starters. I wanted to be able to draw any 5 cards of my engine and be able to sequence my plays where it's not as obvious where the hand trap needs to be. If you summon a Prank and activate the effect, Ash is being dropped. If you summon Alistair, Imperm is being dropped. But in Drytron, I can draw engine cards and sequence my plays in a fashion to avoid these type of hand traps. So that's why I really like the deck.
Yes, sir. Big brain plays, right?
Yeah, of course, dude.
And let's go ahead with the deck profile.
Awesome. So getting into it, play triple alpha.
Well, that's a nice mat.
Appreciate that, yeah.
Adult hand trap? Ooh.
It's a hand trap map, but ironically, we played no hand traps in the main. Spoiler. Triple Zeta, triple Gamma, and 2 Delta.
So that's 11 hard names, basically.
Correct, yeah. And the reason you play 2 Delta rather than 3 like the other ones, it requires you to have other cards to get its main effect off, so it's not really the best to open. But you still want to play it because like the only games you actually lose are the ones you don't open these Drytron cards.
Yes,
so
sir.
Opening these are good.
That makes sense.
And then we play triple Diviner of the Heralds.
Best extender in the deck?
Of course, yeah. 2 Heralds and 1 Eva.
Okay, so why the ratio of 2 Herald and 1 Eva?
You literally just never want to draw these cards. You very rarely will draw this with another fairy. And even doing so, for example, let's say you have 5 cards starting, whatever. You go first, and then you resolve this sending another fairy. If they have another hand trap, you're just in a terrible spot. You wasted 2 cards to stop one of their cards, and now you have 3 cards that actually allow you to play. And if they have one other hand trap, you may not be in the best position.
Yes, sir.
So
makes sense.
Exactly, yeah. So I decided to just play one of this for the simple fact that in the first turn combo with Beatrice, we're sending Herald of Ultimateness instead of 2 of this. So you never get value from like sending one on your turn and then sending another one on your opponent's.
Yes,
so rather than doing that, I decided to play 1. And the only reason I played 2 Herald, like let's say that I still only played 1, I would play 1/1. But the only reason I played 2 Herald because you can sequence your plays in this deck where your first search off Benten is an orange light to protect from like a Veiler or a Nibiru when you drop your Fafnir. So
Yes, sir. Makes sense.
yeah, like if you have another fairy, you can always get to this from Benten.
Yes, sir.
Then for the rituals, Benten, Ida-10, Natasha, Herald of Ultimateness, and Draconids. And this card was like the MVP of the day, to be quite honest. With like more players going to the Dragoon variant of Drytron. Sometimes like if they don't open too well or you just like hand trap them post side, they'll end on like an Anaconda, a Dragoon, and like 1 card in hand. And spoilers, we did not play Dragoon Engine here.
I was just about to ask you why I'm not seeing the Dark Magician.
For sure. So no Dragoon Engine. I felt like the deck didn't need it. I tried to build the deck to play through hand traps
Yes, sir.
rather than end on like set up the board through hand traps rather than just end on a Dragoon through hand traps. Reason being is you get way more follow-up if you end on the board itself than just ending on a Dragoon. And I felt like this card with the new variant of the Dragoon decks was actually really good. If you're able to get to like a ritual spell and get a Faf on board, you could like summon this. You can always swing over the Anaconda. They took 2,000 from activating it. You can crash into the Dragoon or beat over it if they destroyed something in grave. And then like attack for 2,000 with Faf. And most of the time it's game if you have like another body on board.
Also, Fafnir Meteonis is really strong.
Of course, yeah.
Because it's like, against a deck like Tri-Brigade, you pop their summon with it happened to me during the rounds. I popped his summon. We were in simplified game state. I popped his summon. He couldn't use effect. He tried to use tactics. I negated with Fafnir.
Of course, yeah.
Like you convinced me on that card. I'll be honest with you. You convinced me on Draconids.
Yeah, the card's really nice, and like having a Fafnir live is like super plus because its main effect is already good enough.
Yes, sir.
Then we play more ways to see the Drytron monsters.
The emergency.
Triple emergency, triple nova, and 2 field spell.
2 Fafnirs.
Yeah, maybe unstandard is like I play 2 Fafnirs. The way I like to think about it is I like to see Drytron monsters in my Drytron deck. So I wanted to play like as many theoretical ways I could to see them. But this is probably like the worst one because it just searches you this one, which is the best one. So you don't want to play like 3 of it.
Yes, sir. How did 2 Fafnirs work out for you with people maining draw and stuff? Some players.
I don't think most decks can afford to main draw. Like it's honestly just a neg 1, and a lot of the time I'm still able to end on some type of board presence. So like the only deck you're kind of worried about maining that would main draw is like Drytron itself because they can actually like kill you. Yeah, but I wasn't too worried about like drawing the main.
Yeah, I saw you switched it for this tournament because obviously I played with you for the 3v3 we won last week. That your deck profile is also on the channel.
Yeah.
And we both played draw in the main for that tournament. You think? Well, we'll see the switch you made, and then I'll talk about it later.
So like
on.
this goes back to the Dragoon argument. Like, why would I want to main draw when at the end of the day, yeah, I'm stopping them, but they're still ending on a Dragoon. So it just didn't really make sense to be quite honest to main draw.
Yes, sir.
And then like one kind of choke point, I guess, quote unquote, that the deck has is like your alpha getting hit with like an Ash, a Gamma, or whatever. Because not having access to the ritual monsters actually kind of hurt.
Yes, sir.
So to mitigate that, we decided to play 2 prep. Just in those instances.
Yes, sir.
Also, that's the reason we played Natasha, was because in your first turn combo, you go through Ida 10 and Ben 10. So theoretically, if the game lasts any longer, you drawing this is always dead. So that's why I decided to play Natasha, was to always have this live, in case of like draw it or like have to grind and things of that nature.
The grind game, yes, sir.
And then,
consistency in the grind game.
Of course. And then we played 2 ritual spell. This card's just great opening it. It just helps out a lot. With Draco Nids, it's busted, so like, I don't know, it's just a good card.
Yes, sir.
I was opposed to playing 2 for the longest time, but I have been convinced, yeah. And then no hand traps, but I did play like going second cards that allow you to play into boards, which were triple droplet, 2 tactics, and 1 called by.
So this is where I'm getting at for the 3v3. You main draws instead of droplets?
No. So I think I made droplet for that event.
Also?
As well. Yeah, I didn't main tactics.
Oh, you didn't main tactics, okay. Because I remember you maining draw.
Yeah, I did main draw for that event. I felt like there was going to be a lot of Drytron players, and there was actually a lot of Drytron players yesterday. I would say out of like my 10 rounds, I think 6 or 5 of them were mirror matches.
Yes, sir. So how did you like the 2 tactics?
To be quite honest, it wasn't that great because like we made no hand trap, so if they set up board, it's just getting negated anyways. But if they end on a Dragoon, this card just slaps. Like you're just winning the game on the spot once they activate the Dragoon effect.
So would have preferred? Well, actually, I'm pretty sure you're gonna say you wouldn't do changes because you went 10-0. So I don't think you have to do any changes. But did you miss maining the draws yesterday?
No, not at all, honestly. Funny enough, like I lost a lot of game 1s to the mirror match, but basically, if you lose game 1, you just want to try to play without showing what you're playing, so they don't side heavily.
Yes, sir.
And then hopefully, you see some side cards or some form of like these cards when you have to go second game 3.
Yes, sir. Makes sense.
It just worked out, yeah. And then for the extra, this card's broken, by the way. Herald, Entis, double Fafnir. This is just a 3 of mandatory moving forward.
Yep.
I think if you play Drytron, you have to play 3 of this card if you're playing correctly. If you open 3 Drytron names, you're able to do a combo with Ida 10 where you actually loop it and summon it 3 to 4 times. In order to do so, you need 2 of these in your first turn. And the reason that's important is because it allows you to end on an IP with more materials. So this card's just literally the MVP. It should be a 3 of. So that's probably like a change I would make.
Yes, sir.
I played this card that I made once. Terrible card. Downer, Zeus, and Beatrice for the XCs. And then for the links, Link Rebo, IP, Unicorn, Phoenix, Cerberus. I decided to put in Cerberus like pretty late the night before the event. It came up in testing. I never summoned it once yesterday, but I don't necessarily regret it. And then for the 2 Link 4s, 1 Apo, and 1 Borosword. The reason we play Borosword instead of Access Code is because we play the Herald of Ultimateness version. So this basically means after you set up the first turn board, next turn you can summon Borosword and have Herald face up, and this is exactly 8,000. If I was playing like the pre-prep version with Herald of Perfection, it wouldn't make a difference whether you play like Borosword or Access Code, because it's not game anyways with just the Herald of Perfection.
Yes, sir.
So moving forward, for the side deck.
The spice.
Yeah, the spice. Not too spicy actually, but just good cards that were great all day, honestly. So triple Nibiru, triple Droll, triple Contact C. This card was MVP of the day.
Yeah, I loved it too yesterday.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I felt like with Pack winning the YCS, his version of Prank Kids was super scary, because if he opened well enough, he was able to end on Toad, Dweller, and then have like a Butler setup on your turn. And the reason this is a problem is because like even if you have Droplet, you have to answer the Dweller, which is like really strong against your deck. So once you answer the Dweller into Toad, he still has like a double Regeki Send with Butler, which is a problem. So I decided to play Contact C to kind of to help out in that matchup.
Latech.
Yeah. Triple Imperm for Tri Brigade. You can see it as your 6th card in certain matchups too. This is also really good against like the mirror match. This card is like pretty much like against the mirror. It's like really good because like you hit Fafnir, and then you force them to have an extra name in hand, and if they don't, they pretty much just go Dragoon Pass. And then for the last 3 side cards, double Twin, 1 Red Reboot. This deck kind of mows through back row, so I didn't feel the need to dedicate so many slots to back row in my side deck. I wanted to dedicate slots to more pertinent matchups, which I felt were going to be like Prank Kids, Tri Brigade, and the mirror match.
Yes, sir.
And then some shout outs I want to give. I want to give some shout outs to Ike, Tyler, Orlando. Shout out to Felix behind the camera. Shout out to Noel Bagelman, Mike Bagelman, Jacob Collins. Shout out to everyone who went to the event. Shout out to Imperial, Arthur for running a great event and making this cool ass belt.
Arthur and Alex.
Yeah, for sure. Arthur and Alex. And yeah, I'm just very thankful. I'm a newer player, and then hopefully, you know, this direction continues.
Yes, sir. So in your opinion, what is the most competitive locals?
Most competitive local. Well, the local we're at right now is Endangered Hobbies. It's like one of the best locals in the New England area. I'd recommend anyone that's around the area to stop by. There's usually locals, I think, on Thursdays and Saturdays. I think we had actually 6 of the top 16 representatives come from this local. So if you want to get good practice, you know where to go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm just very happy, and shout out to the local, supports me in testing and all that stuff. So yeah.
How does it feel to win that gorgeous belt?
I mean, it feels pretty good. Again, I'm a newer player, so I've never really like won anything, so I don't know like how it feels doing it. You know, like from past experience. So right now, it just feels good.
Yes, sir. Listen, congrats. You went 10-0. You deserved it. Like I saw a lot of your matches since I scrubbed out in the 3rd round early. And you know your technical play was really good. I think it carried you in a lot of games because your opponents weren't making misplays where you were playing so well technically that it just kept like advancing your game state more than theirs, even if they didn't misplay. So like listen, like I said, respect, man. Welcome to Got Milk Gaming. Looking forward to seeing greater things.
Appreciate that.
We out.